Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for the movie called Bel Canto. Based on the best selling novel, a famous opera singer is held hostage in South America by a guerrilla rebel group after performing at a Japanese businessman's lavish birthday party. Unexpected bonds are forged in the standoff that ensues. This is a 2018 film. Uh, doesn't look like it has a rating. Yep, doesn't have a rating. And it runs 102 minutes. And it stars the people on the front cover: Julianne Moore, Ken Watanabe, and Sebastian Cook. So, Bel Canto. Well, I've never heard of this movie, and I don't know if it was in theaters. I don't know who has actually heard of this or watched it, and just came up on my list. And I was like, okay, well, I better make sure it's a little bit in English, And so I started watching it, and it was in subtitles, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. Then a couple people spoke English, and then there was some singing, and I was like, oh, okay. And it started to grow on me, I had to kind of give it 10 or 15 minutes to get going, but when it got going, it got really exciting. So I'll just start with my negatives because I think I have more of them than positives. Obviously, the subtitles, it sucks reading, but you know what? It kind of turns itself into a positive or like a thing to handle because there's this translator the whole time. He's a really good actor and he handles everything around him, trying to speak this language and that language. And honestly, if you're not paying attention, you're just not going to get it. So you really need to be into this movie. You need to, experience it and everything that's going on. And the subtitles are just kind of part of it. And everything that they're saying is really valid and important. And you kind of need to go along with the ride and listen to the Russian and listen to the Spanish and listen to the English. And it all kind of fits together. But I typically don't like subtitle movies. So that's my point. Being a hostage movie with that situation, things can get pretty drawn out, and they do in this movie. There's a lot of stuff that it's like interesting, but it's not really necessary. Like this could be almost like a 60-minute movie instead of a 102-minute movie because they could just cut out a bunch of stuff, So, just sitting around and playing chess and just there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't need to be in this movie. So it is a little drawn out. Being a singer and watching a movie with singing, watching an actress, Julianne Moore, I'm not convinced that she sang. Like, there are times where I could tell she's a very good singer and I could tell she knew what she was doing and she was trying to pass it off as, real singing and stuff, but I don't think the big times were her. I'm just not convinced that it was. So I think there's a little bit of fake singing in this. It looked a lot like Julianne Moore looking like she's trying to sell it as her, but it's just not. As a singer, the shape of your mouth, it's like she had her teeth bearing down together trying to look nice, and it just didn't. Just wasn't sold that it was her the whole time. And then the big surprise of this movie is that there are some relationships formed while they're being hostages in this situation. A couple people, end up getting together. I just think it's the silliest thing that this movie felt like they had to include showing these two couples that kind of get formed actually getting together and having sex. Like, I felt like they really didn't need to include that part of it. Like, they could show them kissing, they could show them getting along, but, goodness gracious, these are rebels, these are, hostages. I mean, how it just blows the mind that maybe it really happened, and maybe it's an effective way to put into your movie that keep people interested and blow their minds that this is actually a possibility. Maybe some people will appreciate it. I just thought it was the silliest thing. I'm like, you can show that people are human, and you can show that they might fall, for somebody if they're in close quarters with them. But this is like the most not way I want to hear about two people getting close to each other is because they're in a hostage situation. I didn't get that at all. So I didn't connect with it. I didn't think it was that important and that effective of a tool to have in your movie. So as far as that goes, like the flip side of that coin, it is very intriguing with the whole thing. Like it starts out as this like nice little party dinner thing. The singer really doesn't even want to be there, Juliana and or Julianne, and it just turns into this crazy thing. And I didn't really see it coming. I didn't know anything about it. It was very surprising. So if you're willing to give this movie a chance, I think you'll be surprised by it. I think it's interesting. I think it's valid. I think it's a very unique situation, but even themselves have a line in the movie that there's no news about him in the local newspaper. It's like, it really, if the people of that time and in that, area really didn't even care about what was going on, then why should we care about the movie? Just there's a couple times like that in the movie, and the ending is so silly, but really it's a humane story, and that's the best part. That's the best kind of movie to make. Is something that can, have people watch the whole thing, be very into it, and the movie is fine, and it's has a lot of stuff in it, has some unique stuff in it, and it's just interesting. It really is. So the way that it intrigues you as a human being to just feel things and think about that situation and that situation, and to have the ending it does just be kind of simplistic. I just think it's okay. I don't think it's a C. I think it's more like a B minus kind of movie. So I'm going to give Bel Canto a B minus, and I enjoyed it. But I don't think I want to see it again. But I enjoyed myself, and I think you will too. So thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or my other videos, try and give some of them a watch, like and subscribe to my channel, and enjoy movies. Thanks.